Saturday night. Saturday night. Welcome, Saturday night. POPRAGEOUS Live, it is Saturday night. Ooh, so much stuff to cover. Starfleet Academy. I want to go over the burn tonight. A lot of people don't understand the burn. And quite frankly, I didn't fully understand the burn. What's this burn thing? It's the whole basis of kind of what it started off with in 3069, right? With Star Trek Discovery. I only watch bits and pieces of Star Trek Discovery. I couldn't. It was hard to take. But now I realize I want to watch. Because now that I'm doing all the live stuff, I got to get this full understanding of some of this stuff. And there. I mean, look, if you're a Star Trek geek and you know, I'm a screenwriter, right? So as a screenwriter, you spend hours, months, days, years of your life locked in your room doing your own stuff, right? So when it comes to the early Star Trek, Generation, DS9, the original Star Trek, I'm down. Let me get the comments up. Just get there. Which tall and big? Do we do big? Yeah, there we go. So okay, so we're gonna go over Starfleet Academy. We're gonna go over the burn. We're gonna go over episode 4. Is this the gayest Star Trek ever? I mean, that's the only thing. Gene Roddenberry, could you imagine Gene Roddenberry if he like sat down and said, Gene, sit down. Do you want a beer? No, Gene, you want a beer. Trust me. You want a double scotch and vodka. Or double scotch and vodka. Double scotch on the rocks. That's what you want. That's what you need. Episode 4 is really quite when you're a screenwriter and you write screenplays, you write TV, you write movies, there's no way that you cannot sort of watch something and you cannot and never get away from the idea of what the words on that page read, how they would describe it, how they would everything. Because even if the director, if they're sitting there and they're confused on a scene, they don't know, you go back to the source material. The source material is the screenplay, right? It's the screenplay. That's what you go back to. And that's why a screenplay needs to be so clear, so exact. The dialogue, the screenplay describes the room setting, what the characters are doing. It describes everything that is going on, which is what makes screenwriting so difficult. And when you make it exact, when someone reads a screenplay, you have to be able to visualize it because it's a visual art. Movies are visual art. Duh, right? Duh. And that's the big difference between a screenplay. One of the worst things you could do with a screenplay, it's called novelizing a screenplay. If you're in a competition, if you're in Sundance, wherever your screenplay is, if someone reads it and you've novelized your screenplay, it's going in the garbage. It literally just, page 1. If you've novelized your screenplay, they will literally, if you don't use proper formatting for a screenplay, they will take your screenplay, poof, and drop it in the garbage. Literally, that's what happens. And why is that? Because a screenplay, when it's properly formatted, each page represents 1 minute. And that's based on formatting. So if you don't properly format a screenplay, put it in the garbage. It goes in the garbage. So the importance of a screenplay. Now, that does not mean that the director, the set designer, costumes, that doesn't mean they don't screw up, right? And they take what's on the page and absolutely mess it up. Now, that's where the director comes in, right? That's where the director comes in. The director directs. He is the conductor at the front of the orchestra. A lot of people think he's the cinematographer. No, there is a cinematographer that does that. There's lighting people that set up the lighting. There's a person who does, a cinematographers, they know the lenses, they know the cameras. They got these $1 million red cameras and they have lenses with different focal points, f-stops, like it's insane. And the cinematographer works with the lighting people, the set people. And over top of that is the director who is conducting. And the director will tell the cinematographer, look, this is what I need for this set. Now, a lot of directors, Ridley Scott, James Cameron, Spielberg, a lot of Denis Villeneuve, a lot of these directors are in themselves quasi-cinematographers. But understand, look, the episode 4 of Starfleet Academy is so bad. You can see that the source of that terrible episode is from the screenplay, because you can see it in the dialogue, you can see it in how the characters interact, you can see it in the clumsy scene changes that are literally like a grade 10 student wrote it. It's terrible. I mean, it is literally terrible. As a screenwriter, I'm telling you, it is, from an execution perspective, it's terrible. From a story perspective, this is terrible. Basically, what you have, so let's say how I would change things right away. The Klingon thing, the whole Klingon, it would be a subplot, 8 episodes. I would start right away. There would be a Klingon subplot that would somehow start in the first episode. It would be very unassuming, but it would weave its way through until episode 4, when we have what happens in episode 4. But we would have already met the parents. We would have already had an understanding of how Klingon society is after the burn. We're going to go over the burn. I got it all set up. In about 5 minutes, if you don't understand what the burn was, you will understand what the burn is. It's a great sci-fi idea. Look, in Discovery, it was poorly executed. But the idea of it. I also have a science channel. I have a science channel called Dimension Zero. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I'm an at-home hobbyist astrophysicist on top of a screenwriter and a few other things. But the idea of the burn was awesome. How they executed it was like, oh my God, are you guys stupid? What they are, there's zero science. Like, they should have had, get Neil deGrasse Tyson on there to get some ideas. What I would have done with the burn, I would have made it. We'll get to that. We're gonna be doing Starfleet Academy. We got some juicy stuff. I'm gonna be broadcasting on Facebook, and Facebook does not allow any swearing. Like, oh my God, even I'm not broadcasting on Facebook tonight. But if I say shit. On YouTube, it's fine. That's what YouTube is good for, right? But if I do that on Facebook, so I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Mike, 100% true, right? Look, there is some good stuff, like the burn. There's some really good stuff. 3069. And you know what they're trying to do with Starfleet Academy? Okay, it's a reset. It's a generational reset. And it is so appalling. As a screenwriter, oh God, I wish I could get my hands on this script. I wish I could have got my hands on the burn. If someone would have said, Danny, write me, this is what I want with the dilithium crystals. This is what I want with all the warp drives. This is what I want to happen across the known universe of the Federation. You could have tied it to 0 point energy. You could have tied it to take 2001: A Space Odyssey. They go to Jupiter, right? And they find the monoliths. They find a greater power. They find a greater civilization. What I think, instead of some kid screaming, and his scream somehow travels 100,000 light years in every direction, blowing up every warp drive. Holy shit! What the? Really? Saul Cowell. What was his name? Saul Cowell? Hey, Mr. Cellophane Heart. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. They could have had with the burn. So they could have had an entire overarching new power. These are just ideas, like in a matter of minutes. That as a screenwriter, and it's mysterious. We don't know what this new power is, but this new idea, this new maybe it originates from the quantum realm, from entanglement. Maybe it's from 0 point energy, which is like the fabric of space-time itself. Maybe it's some sort of incredibly powerful gravitational force. There's only so many forces that you can use in the universe, right? Gravitational, electromagnetic, the weak nuclear force, and the strong nuclear force. But look, the idea of dilithium crystals, that's why warp drives ain't never gonna work. If you need dilithium crystals, which are basically regulating matter-antimatter conversions so that they don't absolutely explode in strange matter. You could have used something with strange matter, which are strange quarks, which are basically can result in the elimination of the entire universe. Strange matter. It's a very, very true thing. You could have used something dealing with parallel universe. You could have used dimensions. Maybe there was something with the spatial fourth or fifth dimension that caused a ripple, and that dilithium crystals, because they work in subspace. Like this is as much science fiction as Star Wars hyperdrives. The idea of a warp bubble. Okay, yeah, Alcubierre did some math and it worked it out. It's still as fictional as the hyperdrive, almost as Star Wars. I know people that love, like I love warp drive. I'm a science nerd. You are not going to convert Jupiter into antimatter. We don't even know if antimatter exists except in the quantum realm, in tiny singular particles that exist for split seconds. And of course, the answer always is, it's like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. No, we won't. That's just my assertion from a science perspective. We don't have dilithium crystals. We will never have dilithium. Now, dilithium does exist. Dilithium exists at room temperature not as a crystal, as a liquid. But okay, look, understand, I'm a screenwriter, okay? So when these screenwriters write this stuff, they just sit there and they go, oh, that's cool, that makes sense. I can write that. It's not that they go to NASA or CERN and say, look, I need all your physics papers because I'm working on a warp drive. No, these are just people sitting in back rooms, getting drunk, and making this warp drive stuff up. Even though the math works, you can't give the math. It's like, okay, here's Alcubierre's math on why warp drives work. Mr. Elon Musk, build this. It's like, okay, what do you want me to build? What do you want me to build? Right? So I love the argument from the science side. Look, I love science. I'm a science guy. That's what I do. That's why I'm a science fiction writer. This is why Star Trek, guys, this is why Star Trek, Star Wars, even Marvel is science fiction. Marvel uses more science than almost any other, same with DC. Is because the people running it know shit about science. You need science people that are charged, have when they look at the night sky, they literally wonder. Look, I'm going to go into the Romulans. The idea that the Romulans were destroyed by a supernova. Look, a supernova takes potentially 1 million years. It's going to, if your star is a yellow sequence star, a main sequence star like our sun, it goes red supergiant. That's going to take 1 million years, and not 200. So there's some things in Star Trek that are like, all right, I'll buy. It's science fiction. But you cannot use both sides of the coin. And I get this in my comments for my videos all the time, where people say they'll use the idea of science and warp drives as being theoretical physics that works. And then on the other side, they'll say the exact opposite to explain it. So you can't use both sides of the coin. Science requires exactness. So if you look at everything from a science perspective, now I went on a tangent, from the dilithium crystals, but it's the idea of the burn. We're going to go over the burn. What is the burn? What was this burn? Conceptually, science fiction wise, I love it. As a science fiction writer, fucking love it. It's the execution. What it should have started. Now, if you're going to bring in an entire new generation, right? You're going to do a Star Trek reset, kind of, right? That's basically what it is. This burn should have come from an indescribable power, from a Q-like power, from a Borg, way above a Borg type power. And we don't know what it is. We don't know what happened. We don't know why every warp drive, every dilithium crystal exploded, killing millions and millions and maybe billions of people. Almost every ship. Now, as a science fiction writer, any science fiction writer goes, oh my God, can I get my chops into that one? I wouldn't have gone multiverse. I wouldn't have gone, I probably would have gone something with like some sort of an entity that is multidimensional in a spatial sense. Maybe a fifth dimensional entity where the dilithium crystals, because they work in subspace, somehow interact, and this fifth dimensional being somehow, or what, you don't get these ideas, worked out in the matter of an afternoon, right? But there's so many ways you could have gone with it. Instead, it's a kid screaming. What the fuck? Discovery. Star Trek Discovery. It's a kid screaming. The kid screamed. That's what the burn. That's how the burn happened. What are you guys doing in chat there? What the hell is going on in there? Let me catch up here. We'll get. So yeah. Mike, it's the same thing JJ did when he killed off all the Vulcans in his movies. They destroy a big part of the Trek and start off with the story with doom and gloom. Doom and gloom is their shtick. They have, look, these are not science people. It's not like they have a mind relegated to the idea of science. Even biological science doesn't have to be astrophysics. You're talking about chemical science, biological science, some of the cool things that you could do with races. Gene Roddenberry. I wish I was his grandson, because I would be raising a stink. Mr. Cellophane. The tantrum is what the burn should be called. The tantrum. Yeah, right. The little kid tantrum. The Kelpian tantrum. Everything's a scream. Ah! Right? Because in Starfleet Academy, what's the love interest of Caleb? The girl, the princess daughter, she's got some sort of screaming power, right? It's like, that's like in The Witcher, in that Ridley Scott one with Vikings dude. There's a screaming power. Ah! Everybody, like, okay, right. Okay, you scream and you got these, I assume that it's high-pitched decibel. I don't know what comes out of the mouth, like some sort of power. She's got the power. It's a tantrum. And so this Saul Cal kid, or whatever his name is, like, we're going to go over the burn. And when his mother, fuck me, Jesus. When his mother died, he was so upset that he screamed. I'm giving away a whole segment. All right, I got to have a drink of wine. Cheers, guys. Saturday night. It is Saturday night. POPRAGEOUS live. It is Saturday night, I gotta stop swearing, because thank you. 250 people in the studio audience. Thank you. No. To your health. I have a full glass of red wine tonight. Full glass. And you do not have to have a beverage with me. You can have a cup of tea. Put your feet up. Put us on the TV. Join in, make a comment. If you're a Star Trek geek, you probably know more than me, right? I learn from other people. I mean, that's always one of the things I've always like to pride myself in. Realizing you're not the smartest thing at basically anything. There's always someone smarter right around the corner, which is the great thing about talking to people with people, right? Everyone's got a valid opinion. Everyone's got a valid opinion, or almost everyone's opinion should be heard. Almost everyone's. Almost. Ilhan Omar should shut up. That's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. The burn was a bad idea because it is negative and catastrophic. I got you, Mr. Cellophane. Star Trek is lighthearted and optimistic with occasional negativity and gloom, but overall, like Mike noted, it's all doom and gloom. However, look, you have to have, when you're writing story, you need to have things that happen that create greater technology, that takes science, and there is, when it comes to, let's say the idea of a burn where millions, billions of people were killed, the entire Federation was wiped out. Fuck, that is fantastic science fiction. It really is. That is what gives you the hope. This is what they're trying to do with Starfleet Academy, but the hope they're trying to infuse is gay. Can I say that? I mean, I've never seen such a gay society. Could you imagine? Thank you. Please sit down. Could you imagine the original Star Trek? Let's just take Scotty. Let me get I'm gonna pull the picture up. You want me to pull the picture up? I'll pull the picture up. That one's gonna work just fine. Hey, there we go. There we go. Look at that warm embrace. This is. And there's certainly there's closer ones. Could you imagine? Let's say this is Scotty and Bones, like Scotty and Bones, you know, what? Could you imagine? Or this is Spock or Captain Kirk and the half black, half white guy. You think this would ever happen on the original Star Trek, even Next Generation, even Deep Space Nine? What the hell am I looking at? Why did this have to happen like this? Why did you have to have two guys get so close in an embrace that literally comes out looking overtly sexual? And because it's two guys and it's overtly sexual, yes, it's gay. It's homosexual. The idea of you don't need to throw these comment you're homophobic. I would ask anyone that's throwing out the homophobic thing, are you heterophobic? Are you scared of straight people? Homo means male. Phobo means fear. I'm not scared of men. I'm a screenwriter. I just don't think you need to insert this stuff. Because when you insert this political ideology, and it is political ideology, when I mean no political ideology, I mean no political ideology on either side of the spectrum. In Orville, remember the Orville? There's that one race where it's like they're all I think they're all guys. I think they're male, female, but they all come across as guys. The guy has an egg. Did you see the Orville? You guys watch the Orville? The guy has an egg. It's almost kind of disturbing, right? He's got to take 2 weeks off because he's got to sit in on an egg. The Orville, right? and then his lover comes by. I mean, it's very. I mean, it kind of like what was the captain, the girl, the Seth MacFarlane, his character. She's hot, right? She is fabulous. I like her. She was in John Wick, right? Oh, yeah. But the idea of the burn. So the burn is, if you're going to be optimistic, you need to overcome adversity. You cannot just have a chronically optimistic show and everyone's fun shits and giggles. Oh my God, we're so optimistic. The bigger the adversity, the greater the optimism. And the burn could have been so incredibly juicy. As a screenwriter, I tell you, there's so many ways, like my whole mind's been going since I started thinking, well, how would I have rewritten it? I would not write the Kelpian kid screaming out loud because he had some sort of, he was somehow attuned to the lithium crystals and the subspace vibrations of the lithium crystals. When he screamed when his mother died, it made every starship explode. What the fuck am I listening to? Oh my God. Really? If I was like, a lot of times you have a screenwriter with the screenwriter that you get the screenplay and you read it and you kind of go, all right, guys. All right, look, okay. I got a few things circled here when I reviewed the screenplay. Are there any more ideas about this kid screaming? And like, just from a science perspective, maybe 0-point energy, or we can use some sort of quantum thing, or maybe some sort of a, multi-dimensional, like Q or something, like something. But that thing is a mystery. That's what gets us intrigued. It's the mystery. Why did it happen? You don't tell the people why it happened. Leave it a mystery. That's what gets our juices going. Because, like, what is going on? We need to know, so we watch the next episode. And then at the season finale, we're not told what happens. And then all of a sudden we're going, motherfucker, they didn't tell us what happened. Well, that's because it's going to be in the next season. Oh, and all of a sudden you've got 10 months of fan theories. That's how you do it. Every great screenwriter that was in Hollywood is not in Hollywood anymore, guys. I moved away from Hollywood May 11th. Gone. And a lot of people I know that are great. I never sold one of my screenplays. Like I always say, you can Google my name, Danny Alex screenplay. I stand by. I love screenwriting. I love science. Anyway, we've been on. The bird was not the first segment, guys. The bird was not the first segment. But sometimes that's the way it works, right? I don't know where I was. I was so cringing at the time when I saw this. I was saw what? Oh, you guys have been chatting up a storm. The bird was a bad idea. Where's the hope? Well, the hope comes from adversity, right? When the main characters are charged with adversity, like one of the main things, I'll tell you, one of the main things. This is the biggest thing with Starfleet Academy. Are you sitting down? It's the captain. It's the captain. Do you know what the captain is? Let's go through the captains. Let's go through the important captains. James T. Kirk, William Shatner, the GOAT. The first episode since he replaced Captain Pike. Like the casting decision to replace Captain Pike with William Shatner was gold, right? That was gold. No explanation needed. Jean-Luc Picard. If you guys go back and watch 1 or 2 episodes, you realize how charismatic, how it's like you just felt good, this guy piloting the Enterprise, right? You just felt good. You felt better at the end. You went to sleep feeling good, knowing that Jean-Luc Picard might exist one day. Even Sisko, Commander Sisko. But still, my favorite character on DS9 is Odo. Still Odo. Odo. It starts with the captain. I didn't watch much of Enterprise. I'm not going to comment. Discovery, Voyager. I'm going to try and catch up a little bit. Even Seth MacFarlane as captain of the whatchamacallit. You know, he wasn't bad, right? He wasn't bad. But the captain is everything. So I got this set up. I want to do this, guys. And this is really important to understanding Starfleet Academy. This is really important. No, I don't want that. I want to remove that. Do you guys remember the initial trailer? And we're talking about captains. Mr. Cellophane, I love your profile picture. I mean, that is good. That is good. I want to go back to the original trailer of Starfleet Academy. It shows a lot. When we're talking about charisma, the charisma of the captain, that's where everything starts. Holly Hunter is terrible. She is miscast. She probably got a few $1 million to Holly Hunter. Miscast. There's been reports she got 20 million. I don't buy it. 20 million. When you're an actor, you just take the gig, right? It's hard to blame the actor. We got a gig. The agent sends you there. You do your whatever audition. You can't really blame the actor. Then the actor gets the script. If you as the actor, you're there, you go, you know what I think that would be, and the director goes, shut the fuck up and read what's on the paper. What do you do as the actor? You shut the fuck up and you read what's on the paper. There's a lot of directors who do not want to hear anything from the fucking actor. Quentin Tarantino. You want to tell Quentin Tarantino there might be a rewrite in the dialogue? Oh my God. Brad Pitt doesn't even do that. No one tells Quentin Tarantino. No, nobody. No, you do not do that. No, I do not know. There are some directors, Christopher Nolan wants it. Christopher Nolan wants the actor input. It's an interesting way. When you actually start to understand how some of these movies are put together, you're kind of like, damn. Clint Eastwood, everything is one take. Matt Damon says that he did this one. There's one scene that he was fixated on, and he does the scene, and he thought he's going to, and then he goes to Clint and he says, Clint, I think if I do this, I could probably get that. And then Matt Damon says, he looked at him and said, you want to waste everyone's time? And Matt goes, no, I don't. Well, but what are we talking about? Let's get to the next scene. One take, Clint. I don't know if I agree with that. A first take is not going to be the actor's best take. Maybe the second one, third one. I don't know. But anyway, let me pull up the. Where did I put it on? Share screen. And I think this is kind of. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so. You know what's funny? Almost every show. Look at how small I am, eh? I'm like a little wiener in the left-hand corner. Almost every show has got people in the background doing all this production stuff for them, right? So I got to do it all myself. This is. Look, we're small. POPRAGEOUS, we are small, but we are growing every day. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me. I do. You know, if I was the only one here, I'd still be doing the same thing. I would. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. I got to take you off, Cellophane. As attractive and funny and good as you look on that screen, I got to take you down, brother. So this is the original. Let me see if because I got to go from. Put that down. Move this up. There it is right there. Okay, so Turn the volume there. This is the original trailer of Starfleet Academy. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Bear with me, my friends. Here we go. Here we go.
The ship is yours, Captain Ake.
Thank you, number one. Lieutenant Standard. Thriss. Atlee.
What race was she? I mean, that was, or was that just a human with really bad acne? I don't know what race she was. Did I miss something in Discovery or something? Maybe if someone knows, put it in chat. Okay, why is it not playing? There we go. Okay, what? Okay.
And Ensign Weldu.
What? There we go. There we go. What the? Why is it doing this?
And Ensign Weldu. I read your files and look forward to getting to know you all. Lieutenant Rourke will be our academic.
Lieutenant Rourke.
Liaison. She'll make sure we don't miss any teachable moments along the way.
The one big difference, look at the size of that bridge. Look at the size of that bridge. It is 5, 6, 7 times larger than the other bridge. Why have it so big? When you get so big, you lose the intimacy. You lose intimacy. So when you've got the small bridge of the original GOAT Star Trek, you have intimacy, right? It's like this is such a it's a bad. So again, this is the original trailer, and the reason why I'm playing this is coming up.
What's our ETA?
15 hours to Earth at maximum warp, Captain.
Good. Everybody back to work. Have a seat, please.
Aye, Captain.
Was there anything inspirational about that speech? Was there anything that made you go, oh, wow, I would so love to serve under this captain, right? It's like Captain Kirk would be like, oh man, fuck, I would just love to be just, in his proximity. This is what part of what makes this entire series stupid. Does she convey charisma? Does she convey something that you go, that is a freaking Starfleet captain? Right up there. That is a Jean-Luc Picard right there. No. She's got her little hands, like, very, very timid. Now, if I'm the director, you sit down knowing that is your chair. You own that thing. Even though you might not be 100% familiar with it, you sit down owning it. You're the captain, not some timid little... I think I made my point.
Bioscans confirmed. Welcome, Captain Ake. Please enter your comfort settings.
It's a little comedic levity. This is not the time to do comedic levity. This is the first time the captain sits in their frickin' chair. And she's trying to find her height. Even the crew notices it becomes... This is what poor writing looks like.
Command station settings confirmed.
Thank you, computer.
Anytime, Captain.
What was the point? What was the point? When you're in episode 1, especially Star Trek, and you got a new captain, you make that captain look like Jean-Luc Picard. You make that captain look like, I was going to say Captain America. That would be okay too. Like give her a shield, boom, vibranium. Captain America on the Enterprise, that might be okay. But the captain, so far, everything that she's done has been nothing inspirational, nothing.
Lieutenant Atlee, open ship wide and on screen, please.
What the fuck am I looking at? What is that? Did someone make a comment? And when you guys make a comment of what the hell? Am I missing one of the races here? She is so awful. Her voice is torturous, even in The Incredibles. I know, right? Yeah, I don't think this is a new race. I think this is a new race, right?
Morning. I'm Captain Nala Ake, Chancellor of Starfleet Academy.
And so this is where as a screenwriter, this is where they're going to try and create. Look, this entire series is nothing but a bunch of freaking speeches. If you've watched episodes 1 through 4, as a screenwriter, I don't know if I say that too much, but I preface it so that because that's where my mind is. Because gaining confidence in a captain is not due to the speeches they make, and the speeches are thick and heavy throughout. It makes everything unearned. It makes everything feel unearned. It makes every scene feel like a compartmentalized, childish little, floating island of a that connects to nothing. We feel nothing for these characters because the writers have done nothing to make us care for these characters. Except now in the first episode, this is the first trailer, first episode, this was the big speech. And this is literally the problem with the entire series. I mean, I gotta stop. Wait, what the hell? What? Understand that every single thing that you see is by design. There's no accidents. This image you see, there's a lot of estrogen going on. I made the comment, I don't know I made the comment that, look, I'm 58, okay? I've been around. I started watching Star Trek 5 decades ago. I've had a lot of girlfriends in my life. Never got married, but I've had some fun. I've met some good girls. I met some bad girls, and the girls will, I'm probably in both of the. But the point is, I've never met a girl, never have, who would sit there and watch Star Trek with me, or Doctor Who, or Star Wars, or I would have to pull them to go see a movie that was science fiction based. That's not to say there aren't any girls that are science fiction enthusiasts. There are. What I'm saying is 90% of these sci-fi things are male. Now, they're starting to skew a little bit more female, but I would argue it's still 85% male. So me, if I was going to be writing the screenplay, why would I be writing everything under the power of estrogen? And why would I make every guy subservient and stupid? I wouldn't have picked Holly Hunter. I would have picked like a Sigourney Weaver kind of actress. Height has nothing to do with it. I'm not a tall guy. I'm only 5'9". Jean-Luc Picard was not a tall guy. Height has nothing to do with it. But who your captain is, that's where it starts. Am I right? Even if you don't think, am I partially right? It starts with the captain. And this is what this trailer exemplifies. A terrible captain that curls up in her little chair. Look, anyone who's got a foot fetish is loving this series. They're loving this series.
If you told me 24 hours ago I'd be saying those words, well, the truth is, I'm surprised. And so, we begin.
See, and everyone gathers around. They're like, the director says, look up and look inspired. Wow. It's forced. It's not earned. The admiration that you see from the cadets is not earned. Why does it feel inauthentic? None of it is earned. You can't just do it and make this a reason, or think as a screenwriter that this is going to be part of how I create charisma for my captain. Charisma is earned. charisma is, if you look at how Jean-Luc Picard got his, why we think of him as such a great captain, it's the things that he said and the things that he did, not the speeches he made. But these dofos, these like grade 10 level screenwriters, thanks Alex Kurtzman. What a fucking idiot. Like, really, I'm gonna be nice. Last week I was bombastic. This week I'm Mr. Nice.
Ad Astra per Aspera. Through struggle. The stars. Your generation more than any other knows how true that is. Some of you.
It's got to be generational, right? So obviously they're trying to. When you go and you by default you on the nose, you kind of just tell everybody, I'm going for your generation. Obviously, they don't even understand the younger generation because they're not even freaking watching this show.
Are here for your families, some for yourselves. Some of you are the first.
Love the hologram. There's the hologram, Sam. Oh, she's so awesome. Do you hear? She's already said 3-4 sentences. Wow.
First of your species. Some the last. But you are all the first Academy class to return to our campus in San Francisco after more than 120 years. I know many.
Since the burn, motherfucker.
Many of you have never been to Earth. This will be a beginning. One of many. There, you will learn the skills that shaped our greatest officers. Officers who began their journey to...
Look at the freaking estrogen, okay? Look, make no mistake. I like girls. I have more friends that are girls than guys. I do. But look at the estrogen. Oh my God. This is no accident. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I present to you Exhibit A, that this is by in no way an accident. That the very fact that entire, even the one guy in there is fairly feminine, right? So when you're the director and you're saying, okay, here's how I want everyone to stand. I'm going to say there's one white guy. There's one white guy. Not that it means anything, but what it does mean, there is intent. There is an intent to make sure. I'm not complaining. Do what you want. Do what you want, okay? I'm just pointing it out. Do what you want. My best friend growing up was from India. That's why I learned how. That's why I love it. My favorite food is Indian food. I love Indian food. But that is a lot of estrogen. That is a lot of
to Starfleet Academy and went on to become legendary. Like them, you will learn to dream without limitation.
Dream without limitation.
But you'll also be getting an education of a different kind aboard the...
Are you guys watching the names that are across this? Before there you saw Sulu. Here you got Christopher Pike. Here you've got Spock, right? So they're subliminally trying to use member berries. I don't know if you noticed that, but all the names are the powerful names. So they want to use, like, none of the cast members. I would love to ask, like, Caleb, the actor Caleb, who's your favorite guy off of the original Star Trek? Number one? No, I don't need to go pee-pee. No.
Vessel, the Athena, named for the goddess of wisdom. Our ship where you will live and...
The ship is Athena, goddess of wisdom. It should have been called Vagina. I think Vagina would have been okay.
Train will become a vital part of our campus in San Francisco.
Don't get mad at me.
And when called, she will carry us out into the stars.
Can I stop it in time? Look at that. Guys, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I present to you Exhibit B. The estrogenization of the Federation. What do you need? Less glasses? Whatever happened to TiVo? Remember TiVo? The TiVo clause in my client's contract? Listen here, dipstick. I'm busy now. Get the fuck out.
So that all the galaxy can become our classroom. We will ask you to give more of yourself than you knew you had. But one thing is for sure. Whatever challenges came before today.
Caleb. Now, if I was going to do something with Caleb, I'll tell you later. Let's get through this.
Led you to this moment. And now you decide if they define you.
Oh, they define
Time
me, baby.
to build the future.
We're back. This is no accident. We start the speech and we end the speech. Oh my God. Thank you. So the point there is, right? I mean that is imagine Jean-Luc Picard on the bridge of the Enterprise. And Jean-Luc saying that speech. Now, he wouldn't have to, because the one thing you don't do to create charisma or to create authority in a character, you don't do it by hitting a nail on the head with a hammer. It needs to be inferred. Like when all hell is breaking loose and certain things are said by the captain at a certain time. I mean, what is the greatest line ever in the history of Star Trek? Chat. What is the greatest line ever in the history of Star Trek? Maybe what are the top 3 in the history of movies, TV ever? One of the greatest scenes. Fuck, I cried. I cried when I watched this scene. The death of Spock. The needs of the many. Women can't do gravitas. That's not it. Too boldly go. No. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. When we heard that and we were in the theater and we saw Spock dying with Captain Kirk on the other side of that glass, unable to do anything. You didn't cry? Oh, fuck, I cried. These characters don't even exist. That is the power of screenwriting, of directing. That is the power of the original characters that Gene Roddenberry brought to the screen. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few as we see Spock die. To boldly go where no man has gone before is that is good. But these moments are not by accident. They are contrived in a way by a screenwriter, by the cast, by a crew, by a feeling, because there's all these decades that are before this moment. So as a screenwriter, you might write, oh my God, could you imagine if Spock died? This is how great characters have to go. This is how great character. Now, in Search of Spock, we went back and tried to, bring Spock back to life. Without that being said, great characters need great deaths. That's why when Captain Kirk died in Generations, I was not happy. That was not the way for Captain Kirk to go. He would have been better to go back to the Nemesis. I would have been happier knowing that Captain Kirk went back to the Nemesis, right? Living with his horses, living that's what Captain Kirk deserved. Not dying on the side of some random hilltop under a big chunks of metal. But Spock dying This is what the new Starfleet Academy knows nothing about. Nothing. I wanted to play that because that exemplifies everything that is wrong with this, with Starfleet Academy. Starfleet Academy is... Oh, by the way, guys, I'm adding new... I was supposed to do this in the beginning. I'm adding 2 new shows every week. So I got Saturday night... POPRAGEOUS Live. It's Saturday night. That's what we're doing right now, my friends. That's what we're doing right now. And that's why I got myself a little bit of red wine. So please, I insist. Whatever your beverage is, it could be a glass of water. It could be a coffee, tea. It could be orange juice. It could be some vino. It could be a heated snifter of Grand Marnier. I don't know. I'm not advocating drinking. I am. You can drink water, drink whatever you want. I am not advocating the drinking of alcohol. Let me have my own beverage. Oh, it's so good. Red wine is so good for the soul. So next week, every Tuesday, POPRAGEOUS Live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Thursdays, POPRAGEOUS Live Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, Thursdays, and of course, Saturday night. This is the flagship show. POPRAGEOUS Live, it is Saturday night, motherfucker. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, because that was stuff I had to get out of the way earlier. Where is it? Do you guys see Jay Gyllenhaal? He was fighting in the UFC. He's doing some. I was going to play it tonight. I said, "There's too much to do. We got too much show. Like we got to get." I've been spending a lot of time. I still want to get to Iron Lung. Have you guys? Iron Lung is kicking it. Now I got some things to say about Iron Lung. It won at the box office, at least Friday night, and then also Wonder Man. Let's get to the burn. Okay, can we get to the burn? Quickly, I'm going to get to the burn. You guys know what the burn, right? Starfleet Academy. Nexus, not Nemesis. I said Nexus, didn't I? Did I say Nemesis? I do that all the time. Thank you. Mike, thank you very much. It's cool. I know. Shit. I also called Starfleet Academy. I call it once in a while Starfleet Command. I do it all the time. So you'll see, I listen back because you always want to watch yourself to see, what am I saying? Am I saying too many ums? Am I saying too much of this? You want to try and get some of that stuff out, right? And then I watch, I said, wait a sec, did I just call it? What was I thinking? Nexus, not Nemesis. Nexus. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I need people to put me in my place. I'm totally okay with it too. I'm totally okay with it. Imagine these writers being hamstrung like the TNG writers for the first 2 seasons. Well, you bring up a good point, my friend. What? Yeah. Amen. The tantrum. Oh, shit. Guys, I want to do the burn. Okay. A lot of people don't know what the burn is. Can we go? I know that we've already gone through part of the burn, but do I already have a share screen up? Where are we? Yes. Share this tab. And let's go to here. I will share this tab. I will make it bigger so we can all see. Anyone who is visually deficient? I am slightly visually deficient. As a matter of fact, I can see close. I'm really good at seeing close. I can't see far as well as I'd like. There we go. That looks pretty good, right? Okay, guys. Or is that too much? It looks, yeah. So I asked the question, what was the burn in Star Trek? In the Star Trek universe, the burn was, it's a fairly simple concept. This was in Star Trek Discovery, Season 3. To understand the burners, to try and understand where the entire idea of Starfleet Academy comes from. The premise of it is okay. I always premise it. I apologize. From a screenwriting perspective, I look at it and go, I like this. There's a lot of meat to chew on if you do it right. The problem is they didn't do it right. In the Star Trek universe, the burn was a cataclysmic galaxy-wide disaster occurring in the year 3069 that nearly destroyed the United Federation of Planets. The event consisted of a sudden subspace shockwave that caused almost all dilithium in the galaxy to go inert simultaneously. Because dilithium is used to regulate matter-antimatter reactions, every starship with an active warp core at that moment suffered an immediate containment failure and exploded. Now that's pretty galaxy-wide. Everything that had anything to do with the lithium crystals that was managing matter-antimatter reactions. And that's what the lithium crystals do. And they do it in some sort of a subspace idea. I don't get it. Look, this is real science fiction. This is why warp drives will never happen, guys. Because the lithium crystals don't exist. And Danny, and you'll say, oh yeah, but technology one day will. No, okay. The only place we see space-time warped is at a black hole. And you want to go fuck around a black hole? You want to go fuck around a ton 618? You want to go to Phoenix A? 100 billion solar masses? Hey, I'm here to warp space-time. Okay. But I do like the idea that maybe one day we won't. The event consisted of a sudden subspace shockwave that caused almost all dilithium in the galaxy to go in. Okay, I think I did that, right? It exploded. Everything, every starship, everything that had every warp reactor, everything exploded. Key facts of the catastrophe. Massive casualties. Millions of people were killed instantly across the galaxy. Thousands of Starfleet and civilian ships were destroyed. You can go into the billions probably, right? Federation collapse. Unable to determine the cause or travel long distances, the Federation shattered. Member worlds, including Earth and Nivar, seceded, leaving only 38 of the original 350 members of the USS Federation. This is the burn. We're going through the burn. We haven't gone through what caused it just yet. We just know that every dilithium crystal warp drive, anything to do with dilithium crystals, exploded. So basically, you could say that it stopped conducting matter-antimatter conversions, and the matter-antimatter basically came together and probably exploded. From a science perspective, right? This probably... It was eventually discovered that the burn was accidentally triggered by Sukal, a Kelpian born on a planet rich in dilithium within the Verubian Nebula. His unique genetic makeup gave him a This is the problem. This is Star Trek Discovery. This is a problem. Right here, stop, full stop. We're in the writer's room. Okay, let's just say we're all in the writer's room. And someone says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Kelpian kid. His name is Sokal, and he's born. And when his mother dies, he's got some connection to dilithium crystals. His mom's going to die, and he's going to scream, and it's going to explode What? I have a better idea. Instead of making it some kid screaming and do you know how far 100,000 light years is? Do you have any fucking idea? 100,000 light years multiplied by 6 trillion miles. I don't even know how big that number is. 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. I have a better idea. Why don't we do like something like 0-point energy? It like somehow hits the quantum realm, deep quantum space, which hits some sort of a space-time fissure. It ignites 0-point energy, hits subspace, which ignites every warp drive. I'm just making this up as I go along. I'm a science nerd. I have a science channel called Dimension Zero. Like, I'm a science guy. I do. I love science. Or we could say that we could create a bigger mystery that we know nothing about, that we will find out one day. Make it a big mystery, an underlying thing. And that is the entire Federation. That is everything the Federation is now looking to find. What caused the burn? What caused it? There is so much juicy story stuff that they take away from themselves. I think of myself when I'm writing a screenplay. You guys had so much story material in front of your noses, and you blew your nose and you just blew it all away. Some kids called Sukal had some connection with the lithium crystals. His mother died. We'll keep going. What a treasure trove of science fiction. What I need, I wish I had a dum 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 dum. That's what I need, South Park. Dum 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 dum. His unique genetic makeup gave him a biological connection to the crystals. Now it sounds like Harry Potter. And a powerful emotion. A powerful emotional outburst upon the death of his mother. Very science fiction. Sent a resonant frequency through space that destabilized the lithium everywhere. Oh my God. Could you, like, the last two sentences I just read, you guys, if you go to sleep and you wake up and you spend the next 2 days thinking, how many ways could I have created ongoing mystery? This could have been a millennium mystery with the Federation. This could have been an entire episodes were dedicated to what happened with the burn. Could you imagine, as a Star Trek fan, you were never told what happened with the burn? And then they introduced an entire new Star Trek that had like a Jean-Luc Picard captain or a Captain Kirk type captain trying to investigate what happened with the burn. That's a series, guys. That's a fucking. These guys had morsels of medium rare prime rib cooked to perfection with a side of potato, au jus sauce, and they just fucked it all up. They decided on Sukal, a Kelpian-born kid who could, on the death of his mother, had a powerful emotional outburst, destabilizing the lithium everywhere. So he screamed, "Ah!" Destabilizing the lithium across the Milky Way galaxy. Did I hear that right? Did I hear that right? Yes. Yes, you did. Anyway, the aftermath. For over a century, warp travel became a rare and dangerous luxury, giving rise to criminal syndicates. Caleb, hey Caleb. Caleb is a wasted character. Caleb is an absolute, like, oh my God, the screenwriting mistakes that they have made in Starfleet Academy. He should still be the badass. He literally went through his entire arc that I would have had to went through in about half an episode. He would have started as the badass. And at the 8th episode, he would have started to kind of look like he looks now. But that whole time, I would have made him a badass, getting in trouble. And that's his story arc. No, but he doesn't even have a story arc. I thought his story arc was going to be that he's a criminal. He's a badass, tough guy. Maybe we don't even like him, right? Maybe we hate him. Up until the 8th episode. And then all of a sudden, some sort of, and that could have been the 8th episode finale. Caleb almost does like a Spock type thing where he doesn't die, but he sacrifices something. And all of a sudden, this character, Caleb, who was like an anti-hero, his arc for the first season comes full circle. The missed opportunities, guys, in this show is absolutely insane. For over a century, warp travel became a rare and dangerous. I think I said that right. Like Emerald, let me reread it. For over a century, warp travel became a rare and dangerous luxury, giving rise to criminal syndicates like the Emerald Chain before the USS Discovery solved the mystery and restored the dilithium supply. The upcoming series, here we go, my friends. Here we go. So, the upcoming series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, The one thing that's really wrong, you got to take off the Star Trek. The upcoming series, Starfleet Academy, is set to explore the first class of cadets to join the Academy after the galaxy has finally recovered from the burns effects. You know what? They don't even make that very clear. They don't even make that very clear. That should be the focus. They should have spent so much time on that burn. They should have showed misery, people dying, entire planets being wiped out. They could have started the Klingon subplot at that right in the first episode. So if the fourth episode comes along, we've already experienced a little bit of the Klingon demise. Why are some of these races refugees? We have no idea because the storytelling is so fucking inept. You start this shit from episode 1. Where does hope and optimism come from? From overcoming adversity. When you're writing a screenplay, you make that conflict, that desire for people to overcome that thing that cannot be overcome. It seems insurmountable that our protagonists could ever get to the finish line because what they're dealing with. We should have started from worlds, entire planets without food and water, entire civilizations being wiped out. And that is the motivation that should have spurred the captain of Starfleet Academy when he or she went and saw and understood that entire civilizations were being wiped out because of the burn. And the entire first season is the struggle to recreate the Academy. Not some fun shits and giggles Melrose Place. There is pain and suffering. That's what motivates us. The overcoming of pain and suffering. When you make the protagonist, when you make the protagonist so likable, but they are forced with an insurmountable task that the antagonist, who is the antagonist? I would have made the antagonist whatever this entity thing, whatever it was that created the burn. That's the antagonist. We don't know what it is, but we know it's there. It's operating. It's working. It's doing what it's doing. And our captain of Starfleet Academy needs to try and create a new generation, so to speak, but also deal with this, whatever this thing was that created the tension would have been it would have been fucking amazing. There are so many ways they could have taken this. And I'm looking at it going, oh my God, Alex Kurtzman, you are the dumbest man in screenwriting. You are honestly, I'm being nice. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to swear like last week. You're the dumbest man in screenwriting. You literally are. I mean, this is just surface level ideas that I had. This is just surface level. I'm sure you guys are sitting at home going, I got some ideas. Of course you do, because you love science fiction. When you love science fiction and you know science, you know what's possible. It all has to be wrapped up in mystery. None of that exists in Starfleet Academy. None of it. And that's why we look at episode 4. What do we have in episode 4? I got notes. It's unfocused. Everything feels small. Everything feels forced. The anger, right? Characters come out angry. It's not earned. Jaden's brother, who seemed like what the fuck was I watching? Really? He's dying and he's laughing like he's gone through it a few times. It didn't make sense. When someone passes, especially a brother, everyone, you know what? The thing about death, we all only get to do it once. No one is better at it than anyone else is. But apparently this Klingon brother of Jenny dead. It should be Jenny. Jaden, Jenny dead. Did I say Jenny dead? That was literally, fuck me. Jenny Den. Okay, that's his new name, Jenny Den, because he's gay. Now, if there's anything wrong with that. He comes, remember that scene? He just comes from out of nowhere. What's going on? Oh, he's dying. The brother, somehow we were supposed to, like, the brother is trying to tell him about, the Federation. This, like, oh my God, it's so convoluted. The tension, it's all manufactured. The plot. So one of the big things in screenwriting is you do not want the plot to move the characters forward. You want the characters to move the plot forward. Does that make sense? You have to think about that. Now, even as when you're writing this stuff, you have to think about it. You think, okay, wait a sec. What's going on? I've just written 4 scenes. Is the plot moving the characters forward, or are the characters moving the plot forward? In Starfleet Academy, think about it. Everything that happens, the plot moves the characters forward. The characters don't really make any decision. The characters need to make decisions. Characters are faced with decisions. That these ultimate decisions move the plot forward. Not this happens, so the character has to do this. Oh, well, then this happens, so the character has to do this. Oh, well, then this happens. The South Park guy said it the best. When they figured out that when this happens, therefore then this happens, therefore this happens, but then this happens, instead of this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. It's a big difference. Characters move the plot forward. I'm going to do a show on screenwriting. If any of you guys want to do, like, if any of you guys got a gumption to get into screenwriting, I really got to do some, maybe I do a screenwriting channel. I don't know. Storytelling has been with us for millennia, guys, since the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's doing the Odyssey. Stories are the most powerful thing. This is what hurts. Guys, you want to know what hurts so much about Hollywood? You want to know? Stories are the most powerful things in our lives. It has moved, shaped, forged human existence, because since the day that we sat around campfires and told stories, that was the old cinema. Think about this. What was the old cinema? Campfires. And there would always be someone who was the best storyteller. And he or she would be the one at nighttime that would stand up around the campfire. We're going back 6,000 years, right? But this is what people 6,000 years ago would get excited about. Sitting around the fire, and then the great storyteller, or maybe 2 or 3 storytellers, would tell a story. And we would listen. We would imagine. We would dream of things that are possible. In the Greek times, remember the amphitheaters? Do you remember the old amphitheaters? These magnificent amphitheaters of Greek antiquity. Some of the greatest storytellers of all time. Greek civilization is the foundation of Western culture. And thank Alexander the Great. His empire turned into the Hellenistic period, and the Hellenistic Empire, which was a series of, turned into the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire basically took Greek culture, Greek technology, Greek thinking, Greek ideas, and then they just did it a little bit better. They took it around a city-state that was, the Greeks could never organize, right? Sparta was always against Athens. They could never organize. Every city-state was fighting. But stories, why have these stories? Why does the Odyssey, 2,500 years, and the Odyssey still exists? Guys, I hope Christopher Nolan fucking nails this. I hope he does. Every time I see a little bit, I get more and more hopeful. Greek antiquity, guys, is so foundational to who we are around the world. There's some stuff from China. There's some stuff from Asia. There's some stuff around that is also foundational. I just happen to know European history much better than Asian history. But I'm telling you, man, think about the Odyssey. This is a story that is almost 3 millennia old. Stories. This is why Star Trek hurts. This is why Star Wars hurts. Why does it hurt so much when they destroy Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC, Doctor Who, Aliens, Predator? Each one to a varying degree. Why does it hurt so much? Because we are there. It's in us. Story is in us. We live off of story. What's the first thing? We sit down, we have drinks, and we have chicken wings. What do? We tell stories. Some people better than others. This is why it hurts so much. This is not just woke ideology being shoved into Star Wars. Stories are foundational to who we are. Stories are foundational from the beginning of human existence. When we sat around a freaking campfire, someone would get up and tell a story of what happened that day. And the other people would listen because they were the best storytellers. And for some reason, they knew how to tell a story better than others. Just like Spielberg, just like Lucas. That's why it hurts. Stories are important to us. And if you're a screenwriter, if you're a novelist, if you're a poet, you understand this. And you understand this as a fan. You're a fan of Star Trek and Star Wars. Why does it hurt so much? Because stories are important to us. These characters, we've lived their lives. We've lived their lives. We lived Captain Kirk's life. We've lived Jean-Luc Picard, number one, Odo, Cisco, all these characters. We lived their lives. We feel betrayed when someone takes it and in such a cheap fucking way bastardizes it on everything that we have foundationalized, even part of our moral innards based on these characters. Never underestimate the power of why story affects us. There was a time Hollywood was the Greek of storytelling. Hollywood, everyone, the greatest storytellers in the world will go to Hollywood. Now, it's full of shit. It's not the story. Here's the story. I need you to insert. I need 3 gay women. I need a lesbian relationship. And I need somewhere in there, I want to see 2 guys kissing. That's why it hurts. It's a lot more complicated than just woke. It hurts because it's a part of our lives. Stories, we sit down. You know what? When we're the first one to see the movie, we sit down, we have chicken wings and beer. Hey, did you guys see Iron Lung? No, I heard it's good. Yeah, I saw it. But you don't want to go blow the movie. I'm telling you, things like the Odyssey, 3,000 years. 3,000 years. And the Odyssey is coming to theaters very soon. And like, if there's gonna be a director, screenwriter who does this, and it's the Nolan brothers, fucking A. Let it be the Nolan brothers. I'm okay with it. Our society loses when we lose the power of story, our society loses. And it makes you wonder with everything that's going on, this manufactured reality, is the destruction of story, the stories that we put so much of ourselves into, that we relate to in such a powerful way, is the destruction of these stories. Is it contrived? Are you trying to destroy our hope? Are you trying to destroy those things that for thousands of years have put human beings into a common way of thinking? Stories. You might just think stories. There is a science to story. If you study story, if you want to be a screenwriter, you need to study the science of story. This is what Starfleet Academy cannot get right. This is what they screwed up on. So from characters, we don't get, how do you write it? A TV show or a movie where you care about the characters, that 2 hours later something happens and you're crying. How does that happen? We know these people aren't real. We know this situation, it might be real to a certain degree. It might be a true story. But it drives us to tears. That's the fucking power of story. Story drives, creates, imagines, reforges. It ignites. It keeps us awake. It inspires. This is what I'm less angry about woke as I am as the entire infusion, destruction of storytelling. Woke is only part of the shit that destroys storytelling. It's only a part of it. Any passionate screenwriter will be sitting in this chair saying the same thing. Passionate person about Star Trek, passionate person about Star Wars, Marvel. Look, Marvel is about superheroes. What is it about superheroes that inspires us? They do amazing things and they save the fucking world. That's what they do. Beyond all hope. And yes, we know it's science fiction. We know. You cannot tell me when Iron Man died. You know, the interesting story about Iron Man is that in Endgame, the Russo brothers did not know how to write that final scene. They had a few iterations of what Tony Stark would say, Iron Man would say at the end. And to Robert Downey Jr.'s credit, it was him that said, look, this is a guy you couldn't shut up. The one guy, every Avengers movie, he would always have something to say at every given time. You could never shut the guy up. I think at the point of time when he saves the world, humanity, the galaxy, the universe, maybe, it's the one time he can't say anything. And that was a powerful moment, guys. It was a powerful moment when Iron Man died. It was powerful. And then with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, you know, Peter Parker they were so close. Pepper Potts. I mean, that's good screenwriting. It's emotions, guys. This is story. Story compels us. And this is what fucking hurts so much about Starfleet Academy. We have taken Star Trek to be a part of our, not just our zeitgeist, a part of who we are. Captain Kirk is a part of who I am. Every time I see William Shatner on screen, I go, hey, he's going to live longer than I am. I hope he does. Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford, Han Solo. We look at what even Darth Vader, he's the antagonist, but we fucking like him. We like Darth Vader. He represents some of the bad stuff, but he represents Redemption. That's powerful, right? Starfleet Academy embodies none of this. None of this. What is wrong with Starfleet Academy? Everything. Like, I was not expecting. This was not part of the. Starfleet Academy is a cookie cutter bastardization, wannabe grade school level soap opera inspired garbage. I'm not going to say garbage. Scratch garbage. There's a place where this format's going to work well. Melrose Place, 90210. MTV World. It's not Star Trek. Okay? Let's just say, look, the content you created, it's fine. But you try and put this into Star Trek, it's not fine. You've crossed some lines. Because Star Trek has been in some of our guts, some of our psychology, some of our emotional, some of our inspiration about the universe, science. It's been in here, and you've taken all that and you've bastardized it into a form that has nothing to do with those people that created it. You are trying to change ideology, political ideology. You're trying to change political ideology with something that people feel so passionate about. And that's a crime. That's why it feels like a crime. That's why it feels like shit. That's why we feel angry. Kurtzman, get the fuck out. Kurtzman, go find yourself. David Ellison, do the right thing. Do it sooner than later. Because, look, I even like Chris Pine. I like Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. I do. I don't know if you guys do. I think, I've said many times, Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana is a fabulous Aurora. There's a lot of people. J.J. Abrams was not the best steward. He got half of it right, but the half, even, look, you can get 60%, 70% right, but if you get the 30% so wrong, it makes the other 70% look so bad. And so that is episode 4. Episode 5 is next Thursday. We go live. I get emotional with this shit. I'm not going to apologize, obviously not. But we go. Episode 5 is next Thursday. We'll do it at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's also because we're doing 2 new episodes every week of POPRAGEOUS Live. POPRAGEOUS Live Tuesday, POPRAGEOUS Live Thursday, and of course, POPRAGEOUS Live. It is Saturday night, motherfucker. We're going to do more Starfleet Academy. There's more stuff that I had. I went off an emotional rant because it felt good. Yep. You're darn right. Wonder Man. Do you want to do Wonder Man? Have you guys seen Wonder Man? Let me just check comments. Is there anything you guys needed me to put out there? Keep people stupid, good stories, make people think. They don't want thinkers. They want lusters. Wouldn't disagree. I thought the casting was great in the Kelvin line. What is the Kelvin line? The Kelvin line? Is that something that I've no, it is trash that isn't even good in those other genres, and you know it? Oh, listen. Woke is nothing more than censorship by another name, not the whole story. It is. Well, it is. It's the insertion of ideology. Woke is an ideology. Woke is limiting. Woke suggests that here's what you need to insert. All other stuff can go by the wayside. Woke is a limiting factor. You're telling me, I actually have the Academy Awards, the Oscars, their criteria. I was going to do it today. We don't have time to do it. We'll do it next week. We would get good stories if they weren't trying to ruin our culture on purpose. Well, yes, and you can now culture. You can go even more minute, and that our culture is defined by specific stories within our culture. Some of those specific stories are these franchises that have developed the zeitgeist. And the zeitgeist is Star Trek. The zeitgeist is Star Wars, especially if you're a science fiction. Like I say, I have a science channel called Dimension Zero. I am an at-home hobbyist astrophysicist. Everything. I love the universe, science, history, antiquity, biology, chemistry. And as a screenwriter, I infuse all that into it. My screenwriting is inspired by my science. My science is not inspired by my screenwriting. My writing as a screenwriter is wholeheartedly 100% inspired by the fact that I love science. I am a science nerd. That's what that's where I freaking come from. That's why I think I am the most winningest screenwriter in the film festival. I won hundreds of awards in film festivals around the world. I believe I'm the most winningest screenplay. You can Google me. Go ahead. I got, and I believe that is because I don't put stuff out until it makes me cry. I will literally write stuff by myself and I'm sitting there and I start crying because of the scene that I wrote and the sort of the redemption of where the, that is, if you can't write your own stories and you can't emotionally react to your own stories, that's the only thing that writing and stories are about. Emotional response. That is everything. Everything stories are about. Star Trek could inspire those feelings. Why are there millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of fans, Star Trek fans? Because Star Trek inspired those feelings. Star Trek inspired hope when things were hopeless. Star Trek inspired that. We will keep going. We will keep going on this. We are far from finished. Episode 5 next Thursday. Join us on POPRAGEOUS. We will be Wonder Man, motherfucker. Wonder Man. Do you guys watch Wonder Man? So I'm gonna do a little bit. I did watch all 8 episodes, all in a row. All in a row. Now, hear me out. Hear me out with Wonder Man. It's Saturday night, so I am having some wine. Thank you. Wonder Man, there's reasons to be disappointed with Wonder Man, and there's also reasons to be, that kind of wasn't, that. Where's my Wonder Man stuff? That's not it. That's not it. Yeah, that's not even it. So Wonder Man. Now the first thing, let's get it right out of the way. Wonder Man. There we go. Yeah. There's been a race change. Okay, there's been a race change. Wonder Man was Caucasian. Now Wonder Man is black. Some people are going to have a problem with that. A lot of people are going to have a problem with that. And that's okay. That's okay. It's totally okay. If you got a problem with race swapping, it's a fair argument. Which character were they talking about? Black character they were talking about swapping out. Which character was it? The character wasn't black enough. Oh geez, I totally forgot. And he's being lambasted. It goes both ways. The problem is, here's the problem with all this stuff. It tends to be, I would much rather see, if you want to create black superheroes, you can create new black superheroes. You don't need to race swap, because a lot of the times it comes across disingenuous. It comes across as forced. It comes across as woke. It comes across as DEI. It's like you're doing it for a political reason, not for a genuine reason. Recent history aside, Will Smith. Look, there are. Don't call people the R word. We have lived with black heroes. Will Smith. Everyone loves Will Smith before the slap that changed the world. Right? We loved him in Independence Day. We loved Denzel Washington. Oh my God. Chris Rock. I mean, there are endless. I propose to you that race, when it comes to the hero, has nothing to do with it. Nothing. In Denzel Washington movies, I cheer for Denzel not because anything dealing with the color of his skin, I could give a shit. It's the character that he portrays. Same with Will Smith. Same with Chris Rock. Same with what's his name? Wesley Snipes. I know. I met Wesley Snipes a few times. I did. In Los Angeles. I met Wesley Snipes a few times. He's a good man, but he likes his parties. He used to like his girls back when he is good. He is good at his martial arts. I was a kickboxer for 8 years. And that's kind of how we met. I was working on an exercise machine with him. And Blade. People don't give a shit about race. They don't. The only people that give a shit about race are those people that give a shit about race. It's true. It's the race hustlers. That if you dare make one comment that is any way racist, you're a racist. I have always said the person yelling the word racist is most likely the racist. Okay? So if you get called a racist by someone, someone who is calling you that word is probably the racist. It's just simple. I don't need to call someone a bad word to. But on that note, so some people are going to say Wonder Man, like, okay, you race swap them. And it's going to come across ingenuous. It's going to come across forced, contrived. That there is an alternate reason that you did that. Now, the one thing about Wonder Man is you're expecting a superhero movie. But what we get is far from it. Now, Wonder. Actually, I do have some stuff. I want. Let's go. There's the fandom. I don't want that. Remove the fandom thing. Like the explanation. Who is Wonder Man? Who is Wonder Man? I don't know if you guys have ever seen the. There it is. Okay, so can I expand this? Yeah. So let's go through this. Who is Wonder Man? Simon Williams. Like, what are it? Hey, I didn't want that. Oh, jeez. God, do I hate Windows sometimes. Simon Williams so what they do with Wonder Man, and this is part of the problem with Wonder Man. It is. Let me preface it with Wonder Man is well shot. The character interactions are excellent. Ben Kingsley is excellent. And what's his name? Let me pull up all the names. No one remembers his name. Oh my God. Yahya Abdul Mateen. He's a good actor. Ben Kingsley, their relationship was fantastic, right? It was fantastic. It was excellent. It was more than I was expecting. I was expecting a superhero movie. This is the disappointment. It's not a superhero movie. The only time we get to see Wonder Man is in the last 15 seconds. Now, spoilers, get out if you don't want to hear about this stuff. There's the last 15 seconds of the episode of the 8-episode series. So he is an actor turned superhero empowered by ionic energy that grants him immense strength as the magnificent Wonder Man. Now he's got some serious powers. Like he is a seriously powerful superhero. You don't get any inkling of that. As a matter of fact, the only time we get to see his superpowers is this inferred fire incident. And then when he goes, what this really upset me is if I was the director, when he went in the marble, when he was at Mom's house and he got upset and he destroyed this entire marble counter. Ben Kingsley, when Wonder Man left, he didn't even look at he was just looking at the characters he just left. There should have been utter attention paid to the fact that this guy just broke marble. You know how hard marble is? Into little tiny pieces. It's like, but all they were just upset that he was upset. It was a bad scene. If I was a director, I'd be cut. You look ridiculous. Focus on the damage. Let's focus that he's a superhero. How the fuck did he do that? What am I like? And then of course when he went into the studio and he exploded the entire set of Wonder Man. And then, of course, the last 15 seconds. But for every intent, the government has every right to go after him. If he's like, cannot control the power that he has, look, the government has every right to go after him. But now some of the backstory has been changed. This Wonder Man is all about acting. It's about, like, I spent 20 years in Hollywood, so I know Hollywood really well. I just moved away May 11th last year after 20 years. Accused of embezzling funds, Williams saw the life he knew ruined until being approached by Baron Zemo, who transformed his body to have an infiltrator within the Avengers. I wanted his powers. What were his powers? So basically, look, the lore of Wonder Man is that he was an actor. It is that he has got this ionic power. But what they did is they really took it to a very nth degree, Wonder Man, in the acting side. It was basically about acting. So you're watching it. I was watching it going, is this about Hollywood acting? It's all about, is this like, you trying to be like Entourage? I didn't get it. But the one thing that kept me glued, and to Ben Kingsley's credit, guys, Ben Kingsley really freaking owned this, because the one thing, you know who he was? He was the Mandarin. He went to jail for being the Mandarin. Well, you're right. No, yeah, okay. Mr. Selfie, they might as well start from a whole cloth when using characters so little known in pop culture. And if you're talking about Wonder Man, yeah, he's not well known. He's not. They're really digging deep into characters only people who read the comics will know. That is true. That is true. And that is a good argument, because what they did not do, they did not create this magnificence around the character that makes you go, ooh, like, he's called Wonder Man. There's nothing wonderful about him. There really wasn't. We weren't captivated by Wonder Man. We were captivated by Ben Kingsley. The two actors, like, they did pretty good. It was an interesting story, but it had nothing to do with Wonder Man. And then episode 4, where they had the other guy come in, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're like, wait a sec, am I still watching? I literally had to check, am I still watching the same show? Where's my remote control? Am I watching this? Did I change the channel? Episode 4. What was episode 4 for? Basically, they had to show that the government was after all of these people that had superpowers. And episode 4 was about showing people that had superpowers were dangerous. Wonder Man was playing himself. It was to the director. Who was the director? It was well done. It was well shot. Destin Daniel Cretton and Andrew Guest. It doesn't say who the directors are. I imagine that they might be the directors. What I would say is you needed to create more. It was well done. Like it was. These guys have got some talent. Like they have talent. They're good. But story-wise, it was deficient. It was flat. The only thing that kept this thing going was a little bit of the intrigue with Ben Kingsley and the Mandarin. And what I would have loved to have seen is Ben Kingsley, instead of, they basically suggested he played the Mandarin. What would have been more compelling is that he was the Mandarin. Like the Mandarin was actually, or leave us thinking. It's always about the mystery. When you're a screenwriter, it's about the mystery. Is the Mandarin real? Wait a sec. Have they been trying to fuck me around? And he is the Mandarin? And he's diabolical and he's this good? Is he the antagonist in Wonder Man's life? Because look, they came across tight. I don't know what the lore is. I don't know Wonder Man. But it was well shot. The lighting was good. The execution was good. The acting was good. The story needed, it's like, you know, when you get your food and it has no salt on it, no spice, no curry, no nothing. You're like, doesn't taste like anything. That's what Wonder Man is. You get this show, you're watching it. It doesn't taste like anything. It needed spice. Right, cellophane, right. But granted, the writing between the characters was good. The interactions with the characters, what it needed was spice. It needed energy. It needed a little bit more superhero. And it could have happened by accident. It could have happened in a way that Wonder Man didn't expect it. This is supposed to be an origin story, right? This is somewhat of an origin story. His coming out. Let him come out. The only time he came out was the last 20 seconds of the 8th episode. No. We needed more Wonder Man. We needed more. Granted, okay, he was race swapped. Is that going to affect some people? A lot of people. It is. Was the actor good? He's pretty good. Yeah. He's coming out. Well, yeah, in a way. In a way, his coming out, right? Just in a way. In a way, it's his coming out. Wonder Man. So, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to share this tab. Should you watch Wonder Man? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I was pleasantly surprised. I think because of Ben Kingsley, honestly. I think and the other guy, Yahami, I can't remember his name. Yahya Abdul Mateen. He's a good actor. It did feel, sorry, I have an itchy nose. It did feel as if, and I'll be honest, it did feel like they were trying to infuse more of the African-American culture at times. It did feel that way, especially episode 4. It felt like it was, which is fine, which is when you start going to that kind of stuff, there's no right or wrong. The question has to be, is this going to help viewership or is it going to hurt viewership? It has nothing to do or less to do with the idea that you're race swapping. Is it a good idea to race swap? I don't know what the answer is to this one. Ben Kingsley and Yahya, they had good chemistry. But many people will say they shouldn't have race swapped. And look, there's an argument there. There is an argument there. It's a valid argument. Did the TV show work as it was? It did. The guy was a good actor. He did a good job. It was well shot. Well, the only thing that they needed to do. So again, if I was the on-script advisor, it's like, guys, we need more spectacle. I love the interaction with the main characters. Power, strong, good. We need more superpower spectacle. We need more superpower spectacle. Right? It's not complicated. 7.6. It's probably about right. I think it surprised a lot of people because they dropped all 8 episodes. All 8 episodes. They dropped it all. Boom. So whenever they do that, there's only 2 Marvel. Do you guys know that there's only 2 Marvel TV series that dropped all episodes at once? You know what they were? You know what? It was Wonder Man. What was the other Marvel TV series that they dropped all episodes at once? Echo. It was Echo. Yes, that was true. So when they dropped all 8 at once, it was kind of like, ooh, this is not good. It's not good. So I thought when I was watching it, I had lower expectations. And my expectations were actually, I enjoyed Ben Kingsley and Yaha Adim of what's his name? I forgot I've said his name 4 times in the last 5 minutes. I still forget his name. Dude, Wonder Man. Ben Kingsley was the shining star in this, but they should have made him the Mandarin. Like, I am the Mandarin. If there's a season 2. I'd love to know what he probably got. I bet you got 10, 12 million bucks for that. Do you want to do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Oh, really? You want to see the script? No. 12 million? I'll do it. Right? That's exactly what's. So overall, it was good. Overall, it was fine. Execution, honestly, it was strong. Lighting, cinematography, production, very well done. Direction, confident and controlled. They knew what, they knew what they wanted to get. The story was flat. That's the problem with Wonder Man. The story was flat. It feels more like a character study of an actor than it does a superhero story. It felt like it was like, a day in the life of an actor in Hollywood. That was done really well. Like the idea of like the struggles of an actor in Hollywood. There were no stakes. That's part of the problem. There was no stakes. There's no tension. What are the stakes? There was nothing really to push the whole story forward. And again, it's another problem. Same with Starfleet Academy. Like, this is consistent with so many of these TV shows. Who the fuck are these writers? All the great writers have left Hollywood, guys. That's the problem. You're left with these garbage writers. And that's not even nice. It's not even nice for me to say. Writers that have less of a capacity to create emotional stories. The superhero element, it feels second. These are my notes. The superhero element, it feels secondary. It's almost like an optional element until the last 20 seconds of the 8th episode. The tone is serious, grounded, but emotionally muted. There were some emotional parts, but especially with Wonder Man and his mother, they tried to get a few things that were almost there, but not quite. Almost, very close. The audio, some people will like the grounded approach. Again, the race swap. That's the controversy. And the bottom line, it's well made on a technical level, but dramatically underpowered. Do I recommend Wonder Man? It's worth your time. It is. I think you'll enjoy it. Don't expect it to be a superhero story. This is a Los Angeles story about an actor who has some powers that he's discovering, and Ben Kingsley, who befriends him. And you will enjoy watching that relationship unfold. Except for episode 4. There's no explanation for episode 4. None. So Iron Lung. I got, there's a lot of stuff. We're at the 2-hour mark, and I thought I was going to get to the Iron Lung a lot earlier in the show. Iron Lung is winning the box office. Iron Lung's winning the box office. That was the last of my red wine. Have you heard of Iron Lung? So it's a very interesting story. We don't need that. I got all my notes. You know what? When you're doing this all yourself, where's Iron Lung? Oh. I guess I didn't print it out. That's okay. I'll ad lib. I'm good with ad lib. The problem I have, I got to go through some of these. Mr. Cellophane is talking. We should challenge writers to not include those topica at all to see what wonders we get. No sex at all, even straight. No shallow crap. No. You never heard of Echo? That came out in the beginning of 2024. 5 episodes or 6 episodes. Terrible. Two unintentional puns. Mr. Cellophane, man. Honest criticism is important. Stop being so polite. It serves no one. No, it does. It does. Understand that I might know some of these people. I will criticize. Everyone's got their style. So you go on all of these YouTube channels. Most of these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about, okay? They've never written a screenplay. They've never been in the industry. They've never been in front of the camera, behind the camera. They've never been anywhere in production. They've never been anywhere doing anything. It's just their opinion on a movie. And whenever they start talking technical about pacing, this and that, well, it feels disingenuous. You can Google me, Danny Alex, and there's pages of screenwriting credits that I've done. Pages, hundreds of awards that I've won. My style is, Cellophane, if you watched last week's episode, I was more into the F-bomb last week than this week. I do everything with a smile. That's my style. I criticize, but I do it with a smile in the hopes that maybe the person who I'm criticizing will realize that it's constructive. And if they don't, well, fuck you then, right? That's, I'm not apologetic for anything. It's my opinion. I get an opinion. I'm giving it to you. But I'm giving it in a nice way. I don't need to be bombastic about my opinions. Do I like woke? No, I fucking hate woke shit. I don't need to say it that way every time. But there needs to be a rational explanation why I hate. What is it about woke ideology, DEI ideology, that makes the science of story so terrible for our experience? You just can't say it's woke and it sucks. No. Cause and effect. Specifically, someone who is intelligent, who understands this. They review a movie, they review a TV show, needs to understand, needs to at least be. I don't need to hear someone's fucking opinion on a movie, which is 3/4 of YouTube. I'm a screenwriter. There's a guy, Brandon McNulty. I'll give you a name. Brandon McNulty. Great guy. He's a novelist, not a screenwriter. But he understands story, character, plot. He understands the relationship, the story of the science of story. Brandon McNulty. If you want to read watch some good YouTube stuff, I don't want to be like these other, I'll use the word, fucks, idiots on YouTube that just come out sounding like a emotional blowhorn, opinionated. They all say the same thing. It's woke, so I hate it. Like 1 or 2 or 3 of these people on YouTube say one thing, the whole fucking chorus starts saying the same thing. That's not me, right? So Mr. Cellophane, that's what I'm explaining myself. This is me. This is the way I say things. I will say it with a smile. But I mean it. You will not hear just political rambling bullshit from me. You will hear exactly what Wonder Man surprised me. I was going into Wonder Man with every intention not to like it. They dropped 8 episodes all at once. I got every reason not to like this thing. I didn't hate it. I didn't. Was I upset that he was race swapped? I don't know. Would it have been better if it was the way the character was intended? He was a Caucasian, would it have been better? It would have been better if the actor was better. Not because of the skin color, right? I think we all agree on that. If the actor was better, we would have enjoyed Wonder Man better. The actor was not bad. He was good. But if you dislike it because you were a Wonder Man fan and it's race swapped, that's valid. It's a valid opinion. I'm not going to ramble on you because you've got that opinion. We all get a fucking opinion. Opinions we're all valid, right? Cellophane, all of us, we all get opinions. It's all valid. And that's why I want to hear your opinions. If you throw something in the chat, I'm not going to lambaste you for an opinion. I like green, you like blue. How do we solve that? We don't. You like green and I like blue. It's just that simple. What have I got here? Iron. No, that's not what I want. I got you. I got you, Mr. Cellophane. I got you, my friend. These writers are trash. These trash. And good writers have to switch professions due to these shite writers getting... Yes, dude, I know so many writers that have left Hollywood that are not writing because the woke ones, the Alex Kurtzmans that are in charge of this stuff, are giving all the jobs to the shit, not as good writers, the shit writers. Just watch Starfleet Academy. Your being a screenwriter is a big reason to watch you, so your honest, unabashed opinion is desired. Don't sell. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. This is why I'm here, and I thank you. I thank everyone that comes, and I didn't know enough about the character to care about the swap personally. Right, and that's... If you're a Wonder Man fan, you're going to care. Right? You're going to care. Iron Lung. So this Iron Lung movie, I don't get it as much as I should. I'm going to close that off. And then where is my Iron Lung stuff? Iron Man, Wonder Man, Iron Lung. There it is. Explain. So the idea, I didn't understand the Iron Lung. Share screen. Explain the Iron. Is that? Yeah. Is that what I did? Yes, it is. So Iron Lung. When I read, so if you look at IMDb, at the very top, you have what's called the log line. And the log line is basically one sentence that describes the entire plot of the story. I read the log line of Iron Lung. Still couldn't understand it. But it's number one, On Friday, it was number one at the box office. $9 million. Number one. So the core setup, the movie is set, let me see, so directed by Mark Fishbach. Now, Marky Plyer is actually a YouTuber. This is kind of an interesting thing. He's a YouTuber. So good on you, my friend. Good on you. Iron Lung is a cosmic horror film that prioritizes atmosphere and psychological dread over a linear, hand-holding plot. If the story felt confusing, it's because it purposefully leaves much of its lore vague and open to interpretation. Even when I was doing research on this movie, it felt that way. The core setup of Iron Lung, The Quiet Rapture. So this is Iron Lung, the movie that's number one in the theaters right now. The movie is set in a post-apocalyptic future where, and this is important, where every star and habitable planet in the universe has vanished in an event called the Quiet Rapture. Now that's pretty extraordinary. The only survivors are those who were on space stations or starships at the time. Desperate for resources to survive, a faction called the Consolidation of Iron sends a convict named Simon into an ocean of blood found on a barren moon. As Simon descends, he experiences increasingly bizarre phenomenon that blur the line between reality and hallucination. The voice. Simon hears a female voice through his intercom. This is later revealed to be an audio recording from a previous pilot who was consumed by the blood ocean. I don't understand the blood ocean. How can you have an entire ocean with blood? Does not compute. The light. Simon is led to a light that the voice claims is connected to God and the rapture. So I think a lot of this is supernatural, or you have to sort of assume it's supernatural. Some theories suggest this light is a trap used by the creature to lure prey, while others view it as a literal manifestation of the cosmic force that caused the rapture. After witnessing the light, Simon's sub becomes alive with invasive flora and vines. He begins to physically transform, eventually losing an arm and resembling a humanoid monster he saw earlier in the film. I'm not going to go into this. I'm not going to ruin this movie. That goes into the climax there and sort of what happens at the end. I don't want this to be a spoiler. And again, so this is, let me refresh this. 6 point. It's been going down. So I started watching this. If you see in the top left here, it's a 6.7. I started watching this. It was at 7.2. So since it's been out yesterday, it's gone down 0.5. This is not one of these movies that is actively manipulated. There are a lot of movies on IMDb that are manipulated. This will not be one of those. So it's at 6.7, which look isn't bad, but look, it's winning the box office. I don't know what the budget was. What was the budget of Iron Lung? Oh shit, less than 3 million. Oh my God. They are making a killing. Oh jeez. Okay. On Friday night, it did $9 million. On Friday night, it did $9 million. It has a budget of less than $3 million. They've made all their money back in one night. The Iron Lung has made all of its money back in one night, including marketing and sort of other expenses. So the Iron Lung is breaking even. Saturday, Sunday is profits. Monday is profits. Tuesday is profits. That's freaking awesome. It's a non-studio movie. Guys, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as a screenwriter who has never sold out to the studio system, and I've won hundreds of awards, I've never sold out. I do want to one day make some of my best movies into reality. And the key thing to making these things profitable is a great screenplay done at an amazingly well budget. This Iron Lung movie is going to make millions. First night, it broke even. Good job. It's outside the studio system. This is what we need more of. If we're going to fix this industry, we're going to get behind people, one way or the other. I have no doubt that I will start a production company in the next 8 to 12 months for my screenplays. I may look outside, like a lot of people will. But the future to storytelling is the independent filmmaker. It's the independent, just like novels and self-publishing has created opportunities for novelists that we would not ordinarily hear outside the publishing industry. I believe the movie industry is being remade outside of Netflix, outside of Warner, outside of Universal, outside of Paramount, outside of Disney. And those are the main ones. That's it. Apple, I guess, Amazon. The power is going to be the independent creator, and the idea that movies like this, like Iron Lung, is this is how you screw Warner, Paramount. You want to fuck Star Wars up the ass? You stop watching them, and all of a sudden movies like Iron Lung come out outside of the studio. Imagine if half the movies that are making money are outside of the studio system. Independent. That's not far-fetched. I never sold my screenplays. Never did. I own all of my best award-winning screenplays, my TV shows. I own them all. The Library of Congress. They're all there. This might be the future of cinema. This might be the future of movie making. Is a lot more independent power. We need to support that. So Iron Lung is that Iron Lung trailer. Let's watch the trailer. We're going to watch the trailer for Iron Lung. And again, this is the #1 movie at the theaters. Friday night. It was the #1 movie. Where are we here?
I see that question in your eyes. For what purpose?
Now, this trailer is really hard to understand, to try and figure out. And that's why I had to sort of preface it with it's...
Do we remain alone in the dark?
Beginning the descent. Cruising depth in roughly 2 minutes. Stand by.
I ask myself that very same question.
I'm seeing some voltage irregularities on the instruments, and keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that.
Why would there be flames? You did test this thing, right?
This is the test. Closing porthole shielding.
Where's the reason for this quiet rapture? Too few to build, too many to feed.
You're the first one down. All we have are surface scans, that's why you're there. Well, one of the reasons.
There's... Again, this is Iron, like this is Iron Lung, the movie, and people, if you're watching this, if you're coming in part way into this, you're like watching, what is this? It's a guy in a submarine who goes onto a moon that is flooded with blood, and he goes down to find. Ultimately, I guess you don't know what's real and what is not real.
Disagree. This is important. Food, air. We need this, not just the seal all of us. We need this.
There aren't enough of us left to be throwing lives away, but there is too much at stake not to take calculated risks. Eden doesn't understand that. You don't understand that!
I just want to live. Is that so wrong? Why doesn't anybody else want that?
It's an interesting trailer, but it's also the #1 movie in the theaters. You don't really get. Yeah, it's independent. It's you don't really get a lot of feeling of what that movie might be about, but you see the human. The feeling of humanity trying to exist, trying to survive. He goes down into and he goes down to in this submarine. It's only him inside the small submarine going down into this ocean of blood. I mean, people are spending their money. That's the biggest test. When people spend their money to go see it, it's a big test. Just more evidence Hollywood is about propaganda, not storytelling. Yeah. Don't have to spend tens of millions to make a good movie. Here is the evidence. Iron Lung. It's #1. It's #1. It makes the destruction seem purposeful and therefore seem a tad hopeless. Hopeless is the best place for the protagonist starts. When they hit hopeless, that's when the movie begins, right? That's where the movie begins, at hopeless. We'll take what you're saying for the medium to survive. So yeah, that is Iron Lung. There's not much where Iron Lung. So if we go to the IMDb page, like there really isn't there. A lot of the people, because there's a YouTuber who actually made this thing popular, who actually made the movie popular. Mark Fishbach, Caroline Kaplan, Troy Baker. Obviously, these actors aren't big name actors. Maybe they get a small piece in the back end. When I was about to do one of my movies in 2022, before I moved out of Los Angeles, I had to put it on hold. The Sicken. The actors that I had in place, they were getting a small daily fee, and they were getting some back end. The main actors were getting back end, and they liked that. They liked it. From an independent movie, they liked it because they loved the script. The script was one of my most award-winning scripts of all. But that's part of the way when you set up a movie, you take a lot of these people, a lot of the actors. Usually the crew doesn't. The grips, the all these people that are in the production crew, they typically won't. They just get paid a certain amount. But the actors and things like that, they will take a small fee, and a lot of times they'll take the back end. So, but some people are saying, well made, not enough meat. Should have been a short film. The best new and upcoming horror. There's people. Hey, there's people that are giving it kudos. The fact is, they spent less than $3 million. It made $9 million the first night. They get 50%, so that's $4.5 million. If you say $3 million plus marketing, it's usually 50% of the budget. That's $4.5 million. They brought in $4.5 million for themselves. It's probably a little bit more than that, but I'll guarantee you, Saturday, Sunday, here on in, it's all profits for them. So good for them. Good for them. And like I say, that's what, as a screenwriter, that's what I want to see. I have friends that I work with that are directors. There's actually an entire little, like with my screenplays that we have set up, but it needs to come with the proper mechanisms, financing, and everything to make a movie, to make sure it gets distributed and all these other things. But it is good to see a movie like this, Iron Lung, owning the box office. I cannot suggest to go see it or not. I don't know anything about it. It looks interesting. But if you went to go see crap movies like Thunderbolts or the new Captain America, if you went to like, if you spent money on that, this movie is probably money that is better well spent. Honestly, it looks good. It looks intriguing. It looks like they're gonna the movie Iron Lung looks like they're going to some places that test the human psyche. Skin in the game, so to speak. Oh, you got to have skin in the game. Yeah. I worked in the stock market for a number of years. I was a market maker on NASDAQ and NYSE. First rule of dealing someone with in the stock market, if someone comes to you and they're setting up a company and they have no skin in the game, you don't get involved. You only get involved with other people who have skin in the game. That's it. Period. End of story, my friends. End of story. Okay, guys. So that is Iron Lung. I wanted to touch on Iron Lung. It's a great story. Well, it's going to make money. Like I said, it got all of its expenses done in the first night. So congratulations to those guys. Awesome. Well done. I gotta give the full applause. A YouTuber made that happen and directed it. A YouTuber. Markiplier. Well done, brother. Well done. Well done. Go see it. You don't need to go see the studio movies. Go see Iron Lung. That's what I'd say. Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, my friends. Tomorrow night, it's on at, 10 Eastern. 10 o'clock Eastern. Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. These are short episodes, right? It's a 30-minute episode. We usually spend 30 to 45 minutes talking about it. Tomorrow night. So stop by Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 3. And we're going to have a lot more Starfleet Academy next week. So again, we got 2 new live shows. POPRAGEOUS Live Tuesday, POPRAGEOUS Live on Thursday. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And of course, every Saturday night, it's POPRAGEOUS Live. It is Saturday night. I will have, thank you. $250 people in the studio audience. 250. I will have at some point in time guests, but I'm somewhat picky. I don't need guests that are just here to be guests. I need people who are here that add value to what I'm doing, who are genuine, who understand. I don't need people that just give basic opinions. I need a little bit more meat on the bone. Not that everyone's opinion is valid. It is. But from my perspective, when you're talking about movie and the science of movies, productions, the process of developing movies, TV shows, visual arts. Can we call it visual arts, right? Visual arts. It's got to be good people. So, yeah. My friends, that is going to be the show for this evening. I thank you. Thank you for joining me on POPRAGEOUS Live. It is Saturday night. I will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're back. My name is Danny Alex. This is POPRAGEOUS. We will be back with Knights of the Seven Kingdom tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern. And then again, POPRAGEOUS Live Tuesday, POPRAGEOUS Live Thursdays. 2 new shows every week. Mr. Cellophane. Glad you think I will go see it. Not would have heard of it otherwise. Take a look. I mean, you seem like a sophisticated movie person. Looking forward to them. Absolutely. Mr. Cellophane, glad to have you. And the other people that were in the chat and everyone else that has been watching, I thank you very much. My name is Danny Alex. This is POPRAGEOUS, and I will see you tomorrow evening. Have a great sleep, guys. It is Saturday. Nothing to worry about. Sleep fine, sleep sound, and I will see you tomorrow evening. Cheers. I'm sorry. You're still there.
Yeah, baby. Why are you not entertained?
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
You! Look at me!
Yes.
What's wrong with being sexy? I mean, there's no sexy. These go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder?